Welcome to Conversations. I'm Suresh Kochattil. Today I have with me Sri RVS Mani, who actually needs no introduction. A former director with the Government of India, he also worked in the Ministry of Home Affairs at a very crucial time during the attack of 26/11. In fact, he was the only senior officer at that moment, that fateful evening of 26/11 attacks in Mumbai. And ladies and gentlemen, then he went on to write books. The Myth of Hindu Terror was his first book, followed by a book called Deception, and the last one, When Money Writes. These three books are something that every nationalist should read. And I'm sure many of you would have read the first book at least, The Myth of Hindu Terror. I had earlier spoken to Sri Mani in numerous news channels from Janam TV to Nationalist Hub, and this is my 6th or 7th interaction with him across channels. Today he is here at SA Media, and I welcome Sri Mani to have a conversation with him on the recent happenings in Bangladesh and understanding how the deep state is actually working to undermine a country like India. Welcome to the show, Sri Mani. Namaskaram, sir.
Thank you very much, Mr. Suresh. It's a nice pleasure. It's always a pleasure talking to you. Thanks.
So, Mr. Mani, as we start with the conversation, usually I take you back to 26/11. We had so many conversations about 26/11. You exposed the murky things that happened that fateful evening and even the next day, how certain ministers in the then UPA government tried their best to help Pakistan during the 26/11, all that we have gone through. And then the numerous blasts that took place around the country, you were privy to a lot of those confidential things. But today the question comes, as we speak, Bangladesh is on a boil. Sheikh Hasina has fled the country and is now presently in India trying to get an asylum in the UK. Now the question obviously comes, this is not a one-off incident, Sri Mani. It happened, say for example, in Sri Lanka. It happened in the Maldives, where everywhere pro-India governments were thrown out. Nepal long before that, when the entire royal family was wiped out. Myanmar before that, when Aung San Suu Kyi was thrown out. And then we saw, of course, that happening in Pakistan, where Imran Khan was also removed. Not that he's a pro-India, but still, they didn't allow him to actually enjoy his prime ministership, which is actually legally won. And the latest is Bangladesh. So the question that has come up now, Mr. Mani, is this a one-off happening, or is there a pattern in this?
Indeed, there is a pattern in this. See, let's take it. I'll take you down to what's happened. See, I'm not saying that these people are friends of India or enemies of India. They are all in a convenient collaboration as and when it arises. Because even Rajapaksa was thrown out and also had some links with China and ultimately put Sri Lankan economy in a sort of boil, in which Indian assistance helped bail him out. That's number one. OBOR, Pakistan is already sold out to China, whether irrespective of which. Pakistan's basic issue is all about army trying to interfere in all sorts of things. The people suffering and army is getting all they want. That's the way the Pakistan system can be defined. Any person who gets democratically or in whatever way gets elected as the president, whether it was Imran Khan, whether it was Asif Zardari or whomsoever it is, they are not going to be. See, I'll tell you one thing, in one of the dossiers it is shown in the book, Asif Zardari was supposed to be speaking to one of the ministers of external affairs, claimed by Pakistan, but our minister of external affairs did not, as per call records, we have denied it categorically, but somehow or somewhere the Pakistani establishment always used to have some foothold in the Ministry of External Affairs. They tried with MJ Akbar in 2014-15, which failed, and that is the reason Me Too movement started in India. And the day MJ Akbar, it was started against MJ Akbar, and he went to the court, the Me Too movement stopped in India. Are you seeing the pattern? We had our friend Shashi Tharoor also having some good friendship with Meher Tarar, with a Pakistani journalist. We all know how Pakistan handles their overseas correspondence anywhere in the world. They are not supposed to do news mining. They are supposed to do percolate their agenda. This is the very clear-cut, well-known fact world over. And that way, and we had Mr. Tharoor having a very close friendship. I am not alluding to anything. These are all facts in front of you. Bangladesh, yes, now Jamaat-e-Islami is now all powerful. They have triggered an issue. Harkatul Jamaat-e-Islami Bangladesh, it used to be called Huji BD. They were always in all India indulgences, not just now. From time immemorial, at least for the last 25 years, they have been in that. And it has been growing over the years that they are able to manipulate many things in India, and many terrorist attacks, including the Makkah Masjid attack. If you remember, one of the original perpetrators of the Makkah Masjid was Sirajuddin, a Bangladeshi who had crossed over to India. This is a fact. And similarly, another Muhammad Bilal also was like that. Not only Makkah Masjid attack, I will take you to further things like Northeast insurgency groups were holding their own meetings in Bangladesh from across the Sylhet border. These are all facts which have been a part of history. Notwithstanding our good relationship with the leader of the Bangladesh government repeatedly, the Bangladeshi army and the BDR, Bangladesh Rifles, which is akin to our BSF, have always been a rogue army. In 2010 also there was a revolt by the BDR against the government. Somehow it was quelled. At that time also we had helped them. So this is the situation. But what has happened in this recent case is extremely disturbing, and certainly there is a foreign hand, there is a deep state trying to destabilize the neighboring countries of India. I see it like India's position and the Israeli position. Now, Israel, at one point of time, 20 years back, or even very recent past, had been surrounded by all hostile countries. Now, some of them have relented, like Saudi Arabia, etc. Now, Indian situation is also now very clear. You have Bangladesh, which is now, the Bangladesh army is a rogue army. Please remember 2005, the BDR handed over the dead body of Jeevan Kumar, an assistant commandant of the BSF, and a constable of the BSF in the Indo-Tripura border, the Tripura sector of the border. And unfortunately, our great Shivraj Patilji, while the bureaucrats had suggested some retaliation, the Shivraj Patilji delayed the reaction, and ultimately it had no meaning. So that is one part of the story which needs to be known. I have written about this in my book, Myth of Hindu Terror. Similarly, the Bangladesh army is now taken control of the situation, and who is handling the army? Are they rudderless? And now the army has given a helpline that Hindus who are being attacked, they can call these helplines, but my information from all over the media is that is only exposing helping them identify the Hindus so that they can send their volunteers, Jamaat-e-Islami, to attack them. This is the situation in Bangladesh as of now.
So, Mr. Mani, this thing about the deep state destabilizing governments around India, you drew a parallel with Israel. Now, the question simply is that Narendra Modi government earlier had majority of its own. Now it's dependent on two major allies to survive. At the same time, there has been consistent attacks by the opposition against Narendra Modi on various issues, which is expected. But we saw today a tweet or even a statement by Salman Khurshid in which he says that a Bangladesh-like situation can happen in India. Many Congress Twitter handles are saying that there are 20 crore people who are ready to revolt. We need another 20 crores, so we will make it 40 crores and we will drive out, possibly make this another Islamic nation, or even worse, drive Narendra Modi government out of India. Now, we know that's not possible. I remember General V.K. Singh once was accused of trying to overthrow the government when some trucks were coming down from Meerut. But that is a long story. The question is this deep state so influential that they did influence the Indian elections big way, but will they going forward try and influence the elections that are going to take place in the states that are going to go for polls now, and more importantly, will they try and destabilize the Narendra Modi government?
I agree that what you are saying, that they are trying to destabilize the government. The attempt is on, not now, even in the previous tenure with a 303 majority, absolute numbers for BJP alone, the attempts were continuous. For example, that Balakot, that Orissa was still a sabotage. It can be, the contours can clearly indicate about it. Now, the repeated rail accidents, it cannot be possible that railways, which has been efficient, which has been on 1980s onward, the modernization started, whatever they call it, Kaufmau or whatever it is. A lot of modernization is happening, and it's a continuous process. And in spite of that, two things, the accidents do occur, and the accidents have a pattern that there is a sabotage in the accident, which is very clearly indicative of some they are hiring out disgruntled persons too. Now, you spoke about Salman Khurshid. Salman Khurshid is the same person who compared RSS to Boko Haram. Boko Haram, we know what type of organization it is. It is a listed terrorist organization. I am not a RSS person. But in 2006 also, when there was an attempt to blame RSS as a terror organization, it is a matter of record that I stood up and said that the evidence is not adequate, because to stand the UA tribunal, because RSS has not been involved in any single terror attack in the country. I can file an affidavit for that. There is no doubt about it. Number two, if they say, whenever I make the statement, they quote about Sadhvi Pragya and all those, I know they do it, but they have not been convicted yet, and it's all a false case. It's a very well known fact. So let us make it very clear. It was a framed up charge, and I'm sure I am one of the witnesses. I'm supposed to be a defense witness, but now they are, as per the admission of the additional chief secretary before the court in the last week of March 2023, the Chitkala Joshi lady, she has said that the prosecution sanction has been signed under the duress from R.R. Patil, the then Home Minister of Maharashtra. This is a matter of court record, so let us not get into that. I will not get into individual cases, but I am just bringing it to you on record. Anybody can go and find out the NIA special court record of last week of March 28th or 27th, I do not remember the date. Having said that, why? Because you brought the question of Salman Khurshid. Congress has been pandering to the minority, a particular section of minorities. As a sequel to that particular section of crimes by that particular section of minorities have been overlooked by the Congress for political conveniences. As soon as the Congress government is voted to Karnataka, an incident like Shivamoga happened, where brazenly the arms were being displayed, shown around, and the worst is, in our society, irrespective of the religion, we respect the teacher as a guru, but one of the volunteers in that procession killed his own guru, I am told. That is the level of brazenness the Congress has pampered them to indulge in. So this is one very clear-cut case. If they come, you are all in danger. So I may not agree with Narendra Modi government on 100 counts, but I know that Congress comes, I may not even exist. I may even cease to exist. That is the basic difference. My life, my property, everything could be given to somebody else. So, to that extent, and the way they manipulated the deep state, Congress president has been, Congress vice president has been, or senior Congress Prince Ling has been going and meeting people in USA, in Azerbaijan, where the their own people were there, the Soros group, everybody has been, for example, the Adani thing, now the Supreme Court has still decided, in spite of that, they are keep on cribbing about it. So that linkages, earlier it was only at the surface, but now the linkages are getting exposed more and more. I believe that even the 240 number, not clearing the 272, was also an indulgence of the deep state by pampering to these people, making them dependent on two more parties. You said very right. Of course, one of the parties, the bigger blackmailer of that, has got no relevance because he has got only 12 seats, and if he withdraws the support, that is immaterial. The other person, as per his historical record, is more interested in taking development work forward, getting it funded, getting the funds for all those things from the center. I'm sure he will follow the pattern, so to that extent the government is not at any danger. His agenda is very clear. If I am a part of the government, the Andhra Pradesh should develop, and I will daily blackmail you for funds. It's a very good thing that at least he is thinking in terms of roads. For example, in the combined Andhra Pradesh time in 2002 and 3, they used to say that what he has done for Andhra Pradesh, no chief minister had till then done it. And I don't think anybody has done it even after that. So on that count, let us not be any alarm. But still, you see the parliament, you see outside the parliament, you see this sort of disruptive agenda being pursued is extremely unfortunate. Now, talking about Bangladesh, the Harkatul Jamaat-e-Islami has few offshoots or associate wings, like the students' wing called Islamic Chhatra Shibir. If you see the 2020, there is one Hifazat-e-Islam. If you see the videos of riots which happened post result in West Bengal, just go and peruse this, the attire of the rioters, and if you compare it with the attire of the Islamic Chhatra Shibir of Bangladesh, you will draw your conclusion. You can simply go and compare the two. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Sri Mani, you did talk about the deep state, you talked about the players in Bangladesh, you spoke about the Congress's association with various suspicious groups. But let me turn the thing around its head. Let me ask you a very simple question. Suppose you are heading the deep state, you are one of the major players in the deep state. If you want to destabilize the Indian government, the present Narendra Modi government, the NDA government, how would you go doing it? Because you have seen the German bakery blast, you have seen Samjhauta Express, you have seen 2611, you have seen numerous blasts, the Mecca Masjid, the Gokul chart, everything. You are a part of the Home Ministry then. The question is, if you were the deep state, how would you do it?
Yes, very interesting question you have put. I am against any sort of ethnic appeasement or ethnic discrimination. So personally, even if I were a deep state, even if I had to disrupt the Narendra Modi government, I would use a sort of an economic methodology, economic tool than an ethnic tool which they are doing. Because ethnic tool, the damages are much more severe and long lasting. Economic tool, even if the deep state's hands are off, okay, let's not say I am the head of the deep state, I have much more to gain through the economic disruption, like penetrating into the Indian market. Indian market is a 140 crore, it's a huge market for every deep state supported commercial, economic, consumer good organization. And see what happened with it, what the Chinese did. Chinese did not in 2005 or 4 support any ethnic disruption. They went for economic disruption through that council called National, I call it National Adversity Council, through which they made policy interventions. And please recall, in 1999 or 2001, even a cloth hanging clip, you would get an Indian made one, but in 2008 it was a Chinese made one, a small item. These are all what is called commensal needs. These commensal needs, the Indian small scale micro industries were fulfilling, but they were almost wiped out of the market, and they used to come from China at half the price or 20%. That is the way the Chinese did it. And even now, in spite of all these Chinese things happen, managed to find their way into the Alipurdwar and northeastern state, it's a different matter. But the question again is, and all these things, when they've got a good economic foothold, they went on, our friend went on to sign a MOU with International License Department. International License Department is like our IB and R&AW of the Chinese state, but the state and party are the same. So he went and signed a SSP MOU with CP. And who signed it? The head of the International License Department. It is like something like Chinese, Indian ruling party's head going and signing a MOU with ISI or a KGF or a CIA, something similar to that. They did it. So that is the way they did it. So even in Pakistan, even in Sri Lanka, how they got into penury is because of the economic hegemony the Chinese wanted to introduce, not the ethnic side of it. So, okay, the Indian industries get damaged badly and all that, but there lies our strength. We may continue to criticize Adani or Ambani, but they are the wealth creators. They can, if there is an economic methodology of disruption, it is these people like the Adanis and Ambanis who can challenge them, who can stand up to the challenge which is posed by the deep state. That is where this issue is it is challenging. If I were a deep state, I always prefer economic penetration than ethnic penetration. And economic penetration, the biggest challenge in India has their own some domestic big players, very big players. It is not just Adani and Ambani, it is we have Anand Mahindra or Ratan Tata or Birla or maybe so many others, the Confederation of India, TVS Group, everybody, the concentration. See, the right half of India sitting facing towards south, you have many of them. The left half of India is now deprived. They are perennially, see, Bengal and Bihar, they have a problem of attracting investment, but these people on the right side like Rajasthan, even Rajasthan, Madhya Pradesh, Maharashtra, Gujarat, Karnataka, Andhra Pradesh, Telangana and Tamil Nadu, a huge number of millionaires who can take on the Islamic disruptors. That is the basic thing.
Okay. Mr. Mani, as I think Sherlock Holmes, or was it Hercule Poirot, I don't remember who it was, would always come on a scene of murder and ask who gains from this. That is the start point of the investigation to identify the culprit behind anything. Now, in case of Bangladesh, my question to you would be very simple. Who gains from this? Is it China? Is it United States? Is it both of them? Or is it a third country? Is it the European Union? Is it the NATO? Which I doubt, because NATO doesn't have that kind of influence. But still, who actually, or is it Pakistan, by the way, trying to get back East Pakistan, which they lost before, because you saw the statue of Mujibur Rahman being toppled, we saw his house being burnt. That means they want to wipe out that freedom movement, because the entire agitation began by asking the reservations for the Mukti Bahini and others who fought for Bangladesh's liberation to be reduced or to be taken away, which means there is, whoever it is, in Jamaat-e-Islami or whoever is in Bangladesh, they don't want that old guard to be there. They don't want Mujibur Rahman or any of the freedom fighters to be there. Possibly the ISI of Pakistan also has a hand in this entire thing. If this happens, Mr. Mani, if East Pakistan comes back, till now we had a very quiet Bangladesh, but now we will have to deal with a three-front war. We have Pakistan on one side, we have China on the other side, and we have Bangladesh on the other side. We have a three-front war that till now we are fighting a 2.5 front, which is basically half is our Naxals and urban Naxals and all the others here in the country. What is your take on this thought process? Do you think this is really credible, or where is this entire toppling that happened in Bangladesh come from?
I would start by correcting you because it's not two and a half. In fact, the internal sabotages are more than a handful, more than one. It is one plus. See, we underestimate their power of disruption. Yes, Pakistan and China, and they have also agents of Pakistan and China, plus the drug peddlers, the penetrators. For example, I told you about the breaking of our locks and trying to traffic something from one place to another place when I was traveling. These things are things that is the level to which their foot soldiers have entered. At the same time, you are right, but I do not see a Bangladesh getting again merged into Pakistan, because for 50 years having survived, it will not be a possibility. Even in what happened in 1969-70s also, Mujibur won the election of a National Assembly, but they did not, the Punjab, what they call it as Panjukistan in their own, say Punjabis of Pakistan did not want to be ruled by a person from East Pakistan, and that is the reason the entire thing, they denied him the mandate. This created a issue, the Dhaka University protests and all that, it's all very well documented. Then Indira Gandhi entered, and she, in the garb of trying to, because it was a fixed match, I believe, for example, certain things are still unanswered. Once 93,000 POWs were there, and India has recognized Bangladesh as a state, they are POWs of Bangladesh state. How did the India release them? Under what authority? That's what I say. Mujibur got Bangladesh, Yahya Khan got Pakistan because because of the Ayub Khan's personal indulgences. He became the head of Pakistan, and India got Khalistani problem. The basic problem started from there. I have written about this with my friend, that My India book, articles and all, very clearly I have explained. The Khalistani problem was in very, very small embers prior to that, but Indira Gandhi ensured that it is given this Shimla agreement or a Shimla compromise or whatever it is. There are certain unwritten things which happened there, compromises which happened to reduce 6 in the Indian Army, Indian security forces from almost 30% then gradually, and thereafter what happened was they did it by seeding militancy and migration into Punjab. This is a matter you can verify, validate these with facts. Okay, that's all right. Now, so Bangladesh to be merging with Pakistan is like putting the horse before the cart and asking it to be driven. I don't think it will happen. But the more colossal part is the Bangladesh will now be a disturbed state all over, giving more pain to India, especially the northeastern region, and unstable Bangladesh, some western interest, because Bangladesh of late has been becoming they are doing a lot of work in the garmenting, fiber and fabric sectors and all that, and they are trying to get a foothold in many of the multinational vendors, Walmart and all. They were able to penetrate, and they were able to negotiate themselves into good trade deals. So economic progress of Bangladesh is not acceptable to many people, and a stable country around India is not acceptable to stable country. Number 2 reason why they will not allow, the handlers will not allow Pakistan and Bangladesh to merge is, if Pakistan and Bangladesh merge, it will be by signing their own suicide warrant. Rogue Pakistan is still regarded as a rogue even by the deep state. That's a rogue which is to be used. You don't make a organized crime syndicate person your family member, or allow him to grow beyond a controllable size. So Bangladesh will now remain separate, disturbed, unstable, and that suits the deep state. That is where it might take.
Mr. Mani, coming to the end of this conversation, lovely. I mean, listening to you is like listening to the research published by a dozen people on various parts, politics, defense and otherwise. But my last take on this to you is, will India be able to overcome all this kind of deep state stuff that is happening? We have survived. We have survived generations. We have survived the Mughals, we survived the British, and we have now survived 75 years. But the next 4.5 years for Narendra Modi, I'm technically correcting, because not 5 years, it's already few months have passed by. So next 4 years and some months, will it be extremely crucial for India? Because this deep state may try and make India another Pakistan or another Bangladesh. What's your take on that, sir?
It is challenging for Prime Minister Narendra Modi. But the citizens, especially the supporters of Modi now who are getting restive, needs to be having a little bit of better counsel. The reason being is, there is a lot of pressure on him. See, 272 to 240 also, some propaganda had happened that he has abandoned his voters and all that. That's all validated through several ways and all. But having said that, Narendra Modi should also, as a leader, I was reading the Bhagavad Gita, Yajyadya Sharti Shreshtata Tadyadeva Janotra 3.21. He should also act in such a way that he is endearing himself to the people by less propaganda, more substance. That is very clearly, it has to be there. Having said that, as I said, economic front, we are still very robust. We have some huge industrialists who are global players. On that, it is very difficult to challenge. So now they have taken the ethnic route. But ethnic route also, if what Salman Khurshid is a person who has criticized even the Election Commission of India in February 2014, you can check the record. He has criticized the Supreme Court. He has got this habit of doing it. As I said, he compares RSS with Boko Haram, he validates Boko Haram, all sorts of things. His statements on generally the contrary of that happen. But question is it a provocative statement for the Muslims, or it was just a political statement? Was he paid? Is there a design behind, there is an agenda behind the statement? These are all very, very important. Because if it is an agenda-driven statement, then that is alarming. The government should put him on a radar as to who is forcing him, who is abetting him, or who is motivating him, and what are the source of motivation for him to come out with such statements. So government should surely put him on the radar. It is highly alarming. He is actually trying to create an internal revolt in the system. And these type of people should be put on alert, put on radar, and taken to task as per the law of the country. Yes. And we also need to strengthen our own law. UAPA was strengthened in 2019 also, including that individual terrorists. UAPA should also now extend to these type of statements. I am not talking of sedition. Sedition, it's already in the Bharat Nyaya Sanghita, that it has been diluted. UAPA should also be strengthened to ensure that these type of divisive, disruptive, anti-India activities, especially this is highly alarming, they should be brought under the book of UAPA and criminalized. That's what I wanted to say.
Mr. Mani, thank you for that wonderful conversation. I'm sure next time you are here in Hyderabad, we will have something more to talk about, and surely the wealth of knowledge that you carry. Because what happened in Bangladesh should not be looked at in isolation. It is a part of a bigger game plan of the deep state. Afghanistan, Iraq, Libya, Somalia, you name it. These countries have all been devastated because a foreign force came there and just threw out the rulers and made the country into a mess. We have seen what happened in Bangladesh, and we are seeing what is happening in Bangladesh. We saw what happened in Pakistan. And of course, we saw what happened in Sri Lanka. There is enemies of India sitting at our doorstep. And there are enemies within India who are willing to kind of go with them just because they want to throw Narendra Modi out. But then it is not Modi ji who is going to lose, it's India, it's Bharat that's going to lose. And we should not let that happen. Let's all stand united and fight the deep state in their own way. Thank you for watching. Jai Hind.